Oh my lord, Koki is totes adorbs, guys. Dandadan is finally back after a 2-week break, and Tatsu is starting to cook once again. I mean, he is really starting to cook. We're in a brand new arc, and this one is finally all about restoring Momo's size from little to, I guess, fun size. We also had a pretty crazy ending to this chapter with Seiko being attacked by members of the band Ghost? Listen, I didn't expect the Nameless Ghouls to show up, but if this is just a new way to introduce a new Papa Emeritus, then you could say they were on the square and they were on the level, because this chapter ruled. Let's go ahead and check it out, shall we? Real quick, I propose a challenge. Since the previous video only received 513 likes, let's try to get this one to 520 likes. All we need is just 7 more people to make the dream come true, and I'll even throw in a carrot. If you do, then I will stream this weekend on this channel reading some Drama Queen, Kagurabachi, and heck, maybe even some Sakamoto days. Pretty cool, right? Okay. Koki is just as adorable as Vamola. Just the hilarity of seeing Koki dressed up in Momo's school uniform because hers was destroyed is just, I don't know, it's just so funny, it's wholesome, and it's very effective at getting me even more endeared towards her character. Like, so far, I'd probably compare Koki and her adorableness to someone like Vamola, but Vamola she's cute in a kawaii way. Koki is adorable in a we need to protect this woman and raise her right kind of way, which just makes her even more precious. In other words, she's, I don't know, she's like a cat. And it's also nice as well to see her getting out of her shell too in this chapter. Like, as much as I do love the plain clothing that she was wearing before, as I think it just fit her character at the time so well. After all, Koki was going through a lot and she felt discarded and ignored, so she decided to lean into that further and isolate herself, which translated into her clothing and her hair draping her face like a horror movie monster. But this change is just, I mean, it's just so her. While I do like the last chapter's look with the ponytail, I just love the idea of her wearing Momo's outfit. It also fits too, because so far the last arc and now this one, we're only ever seeing Momo in this sailor uniform. So it's, I don't know, it's just fun to see that outfit return again and with a twist. And, you know, this time it's on Koki. So it's a mismatch in all the right ways, pretty much. And while Koki is quite embarrassed as she's never worn this kind of clothing, Ira points out that she still carries her depressed face. Now, this is not only another example of how awkward she feels, but it just goes to show that just because you can give a person a glow up doesn't mean the issues are resolved or solved, I guess. And that's a good thing, because I think that was nice. It wasn't one of those corny glow up scenes. Koki is still her and still has her issues, so they didn't just resolve her arc just because. Though I do admit with this scene as well, I sorta in the future hope to see maybe Koki act like Momo, like have some of her personality just because she's wearing her outfit. I don't know, I think that would be really funny on a girl like Koki who's really shy. But anyways, for the new edition of the hair ornament, it was made out of nano skin from Momo's house by Sakata, the Rizzler. And oh my god, he is rizzling again. He's like kind of like an underrated character in this group so far, but this is actually a really cool device. It is basically a surveillance camera, which is kind of odd that they give that to Sakata as well. That makes him sort of look a little creepy. I mean, that's why Momo calls him a perv in this moment, but it can also identify people, it seems, the camera that is. So for example, Gigi is identified as Idiot, Ira is fittingly Lady Shiratori, Momo is Miss Ayase, Okarun is Private First Class, which is hilarious, and Vamola is Vamola-chan, because of course she is, it's Vamola, she is totes adorbs. And yeah, Rin is simply called Class Rep. She's got like the most normal name out of everyone. I mean, when I saw that, I was howling. But the camera is key. They're hoping that the person who gave Koki this knife will allow them to uncover just who is behind all of this. So finally, we're gonna see in this arc just who is behind it. Is it Count Saint Germain? Is it someone not shown, or is it the ghost of Billy Mays or someone? Who knows? But one thing is for sure, I think we're finally gonna get some answers in this arc. But it turns out that Queen Sensei, who just got introduced in the anime BT dubs, and people really do feel some sort of way about this woman. Other than that, it turns out that she may have some very useful powers for the dum-de-dums. She's a healer. After she caved in Sakata's face, rip, all she did was simply touch him and he was better again. Not rip? I bet this guarantees that Queen Sensei will be a more regular part of the series, and maybe her office will be a kind of HQ of sorts for the gang while they are in school. It's very useful to the story just because it simplifies a couple things and allows the already pretty crazy battle battles to potentially get even crazier now that they have a healer on their side. I also found it peculiar that they moved on from it immediately too. I bet what they're gonna do is have her pop back up as a surprise. So it's best to just have this as a passing moment that the reader eventually will forget. Clever Tatsu. So my question is, who is gonna nearly die? My bets are either Koki, Okarun, Seiko, or maybe like Turbo Granny. Because after all, I mean, eventually we have to have the meeting of the hags. So the plan from here on out is pretty simple. Do not interact with Koki at all. Essentially, she is the bait. But I do have to point this out. If it was someone in school that blackmailed her like they think, wouldn't they realize that Koki looks a bit, different? Like, she looks like any other girl in school now, sort of, like if you catch my drift, but she is standing out a lot, especially going from wearing the long skirt and big jacket to a short skirt and shirt. I'm not totally sold that she won't be immediately found out because of this. After all, if these people were able to blackmail Koki by sleuthing out that she posted these pictures, then that suggests they may be observing her from afar, and especially after such a hectic battle, no less? Not sure. We'll just have to see, I guess. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be having the right idea, but looking at it the wrong way, which does tend to happen. Yeah. And as the gang walks away, with Koki walking with Ira, and dang, she is tall. She is literally taller than everyone in the group besides Gigi, who looks like a giant amongst peasants and aliens in this shot. But yeah, I think this is interesting too. Not only is Koki this striking woman under all of the horror movie look, but she's tall. This is another example, I think, of Dandadan's expert use of contrast. Have a meek and shy, depressed lady be this, I don't know, this like flower waiting to bloom. It's interesting, that's for sure. I wonder if Tatsu has plans to go even further with this aspect of Koki's character and have her fully realize her strengths and gain a significant amount of confidence in this or in future arcs. But besides that, Momo notices that Okarun seems a bit down. This is because he feels bad about not being able to turn Momo back to normal. And looking onward at seeing how everyone is united and together, some would say normal-ish. I wouldn't. After all, this is Dandadan, who really is normal in this series. It singles out Momo a bit, and Okarun thinks this puts a spotlight on his uselessness. I can't speak. But I love the way they resolve this tension. Okarun feels he needs to become better, and he puts a lot of responsibility on his shoulders to do so. And so he should. This is his wife. But instead of gaslighting him in good faith or telling him he shouldn't think that way, Momo instead approaches it, well, sort of just as it is. Okay, so think of it from from a personal way. Okay, so Okarun wants to get stronger. If he feels he's useless, well then I'm not gonna argue. I'm gonna empower him even more. So she offers her hot granny to train him. So take note, other series and even people in real life, not every situation similar to this needs to have the same outcome every time. If someone feels a certain way, sometimes giving the power to them, passing the ball to their side, is one of the best things you can do. So I really like this. And speaking of Granny Seiko, we actually get a bit of a spotlight on her for the chapter. She's meeting with a couple of cursed object collectors, which immediately made me think of Jujutsu Kaisen. But it's been a minute since I've read through the, Dandadan proper, so I cannot remember if these guys are new or were introduced prior, so let me know. I apologize. I'm honestly, I'm just so busy otherwise. I would love to reread it like every day if I could, but I gotta go baby pace. But these guys are pretty interesting because the guy that never shuts up is a huge cursed object fan. So much so that this new painting he bought was cursed and regularly just causes fires around his house that he just loves to put out. I mean, yeah, so this is yet another example of a dum-da-dum. But the fact he calls them all so cute is another great example of Dandadan's use of contrast. So for these very reasons, this is why Seiko needs Payase, because Seiko is trying her best to go out and find a way to break Momo's curse and restore her to her normal size. Now, it is also important to note that Payase is the only person Seiko trusts with the trunk that turned her small. However, what Seiko said doesn't seem to have much mystical power left, which is interesting. So I guess cursed objects in Dandadan do seem to have a bit of charge. That's probably a good thing to keep in mind for later. Seiko also asks Kashimoto, the guy with the bucket hat, about fairies, and he knows. But what I noticed when Seiko was describing the story of what happened to Momo was a look on her face. I mean, Seiko has subtly been a very interesting character, even though she's not had the biggest involvement in recent arcs besides batting away one of Okarun's you know, balls. I think ever since Turbo Granny left, there have been a little bit of a void in Seiko's heart. It feels like she is missing her mojo, her jelly to her peanut butter of sorts. So this translates into a more down-looking Seiko, which sucks because while Seiko is only like one personality, which is Granny, there is something to this that, I don't know, strikes me deep. I think it's just the fact that we know old people get lonely, you know? I've seen it. You've seen it. We all try our best to help, or at the very least feel bad if we can't or don't. So let's pour one out for the grannies. Y'all always deserve better. So call your grandmother today or your grandfather. Tell them how much you love them and appreciate them. Anyways, another smaller note here, but one I like is that in this chapter, we can really see how similar Seiko and Momo look. When Kashi tells Seiko he knows about fairies, she gives this shocked look of hope, and it looks so much like Momo. I also love how both Momo and Seiko have the miss when people talk to them. For Seiko, it seems out of respect, and that, you know, kind of the same for Momo too, but I always liked how people called her Miss Ayase because it's just so formal for someone so dumb. But well, it turns out that Seiko may know more than any of them on how to turn Miss Ayase back. The Uchide no Kozuchi, please be easy in understanding as I begin to butcher these names. I have a speech impediment. Turns out that in Japanese folklore, which is awesome, this hammer was dropped by a demon and then swung by Ishun Boshi, the inch-high samurai, turning him big. Are we about to get to some Kagurabachi in this bitch? Because it turns out that this hammer is in the possession of the deity Daikokuten. So let's see if this somehow turns into them fighting the Sazanami. Who knows? But the Daikokuten are the same as the great god Okuninushi, and they are worshipped at, well, this place. And I apologize for not knowing what, well, this place is, so I did some researching. I couldn't find this temple specifically, so it may not be real, but what I did learn is that these gods are worshipped across multiple temples. So maybe this wasn't referencing any particular one. Heck, it may not even exist, but the point is that they gotta go to a temple, right? So their meeting is cut short when Ghost's nameless ghouls come in, and they are on the square, man, because they level Kashimoto and send him flying. Probably should have picked another song to reference besides Square Hammer, but these guys' designs, I mean, they are so cool. There is a reason I bring up Ghost though, because Ghost is cool, and their faces and monk outfits, they're just so ghoul-esque. It also seems there are a lot of them as well too, so there are even more people behind the main ones we see. But did you guys notice something? We have like multiple plot threads happening within this new arc. We have Koki going undercover to figure out the identity of the person blackmailing her. We have the plot to get Momo back to her normal size. We still have the plot with Turbo Granny just leaving, Okarun still having some sort of power, and now we have Granny Seiko being attacked by the band members of a retro heavy metal pop act. I don't want to get my expectations up too high, but this arc has so much going on that I think it could potentially be the longest one, and also maybe the best one if played outright. Pretty much every piece that has been set up in this chapter has so much promise, and each outcome is potentially extremely compelling, which could lead to even more of the world and story being opened up. I don't know if every plot point will resolve by the end of this arc, but I am so hyped to see what Tatsu is planning next for this series. This should be a great arc, and I am so excited to read it with everyone here, obviously. So I challenge thee. 520 likes on this video, and I'll do a just chatting stream where we read some manga together and hang out. As well, I am a Gamer Subs partner, and they sent me some stuff over to check out and share with everyone. If you want to stick around for the unboxing, thank you. If not, then I'll see you guys next Monday for some Dandadan, and this Thursday on C Tactics for some Thursdadan with the anime, and maybe this weekend for some Streamdadan. Who knows? Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna unbox all this for you guys. So the snap thing that every YouTuber does. All right, these are really awesome. You can actually order these completely for free on their website, which I totally recommend. And you can use my creator code CTactics with these too, even though I won't get a kickback from them. All right, then we got some Gamer Subs instant ramen. Total carbohydrates, 38 grams. All right. The cup that everybody wants to see.
Alrighty, this is the brand new cup, and as you can see, oh my god, the art looks so good.
I didn't realize they did that for this cup, but this is actually pretty cool. You just flip it open, flip it open, flip it open. But let's unscrew this bitch. All right, so I had a little bit of an accent there. All right, now let's get into the new flavors they just released too. This one is called Nile Nectar. They also sent me another new flavor, Acid Rain. This is the one that I was actually thinking about picking up before they sent me this. All right, they also sent me this. I have no idea what this is. Oh, this is for like, oh my God. So if you're on a plane, these are things that you can put around your neck. So that's really clever. Mile High Club. I guess it works. Honestly, I'm not quite sure. Guys, they sent me a freaking backpack. Let's open this bitch up. Yeah, so as you can see, it's basically just a dark void. You put stuff in here and you're never gonna get it back. I wouldn't recommend putting your hand in this because you never know, your hand may not return to you. This entire fucking thing they sent me is absolutely freaking awesome. So let's, I'm gonna go put these over on Blue Sky, but you can follow me there at Sea Tactics. We're gonna do a taste test over there for you guys. We're actually gonna combine these two as well. So if you're excited for that, definitely head on over there. We're also gonna do a taste test of these Gamer Supps instant ramen. We're gonna do some of that. Thank you guys for watching and back to the video.